broaden the analysis, Dr. Alex Vines is waiting, Director of the Africa Programme at the Chatham House think tank. Good evening to you. Tell us, this decision, if it is indeed true, what effect is it likely to have, do you think?
Well, it's going to be widely applauded across West Africa. Bear in mind that the Economic Community of West African States, the Regional Economic Community, the body, has a norm, which is 2 terms and then you move on. And so this will have upheld that. Whatever the supporters of President Macky Sall were saying, that actually the constitution had been brought back to year 0 in 2016, and so he could run again.
Alex, there have been many issues in the run-up to this. Certainly contacts that I have within the Senegal territory have been talking about opposition journalists being jailed, opposition opponents being framed. The Sonko case kind of pointed towards a lot of that. Clearly the situation will remain tense in spite of Sall's decision.
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, all the indices show that there's been a democratic reversal, a decline of the quality of democracy in Senegal. Senegal has been seen as one of the bastions of kind of human rights and political pluralism. So eyes have been on Senegal, and I tend to think that's one of the reasons why President Macky Sall has decided to announce tonight that he isn't running for a 3rd term.
So perhaps the most momentous decision then Sall could have made.
Indeed, and he's kind of outwitted the opposition in a way that were campaigning on stop Macky Sall having a 3rd term. And so we'll see. We'll see now what happens. Macky Sall himself has now a potentially very interesting international career in front of him. As you mentioned, he's only 61. He's just recently stepped down from being the chair of the African Union. He has plenty of international experience. And so actually his options have much widened by making this statement tonight. It's really an important statement, both for Senegal, for West Africa, but also him personally.
Indeed. So as you say, still a relatively young man in some people's eyes. I'm wondering what on earth he was thinking of when he was talking about this 3rd term, because clearly the rumour didn't just happen spontaneously, did it? It must have come from his office.
No, the rumour was being encouraged by him, and he's been teasing everybody. Even France 24 was reporting when he was in Paris for the big debt summit, where he was saying, well, my party will be running, but being evasive whether he would be the flag bearer for his party. So he's been clearly weighing up the possibilities of a 3rd term. And he's clearly now decided that that's just isn't the right thing for him to do, and that he'll benefit better by announcing that he's not running for a 3rd term.
By the words you're using that, Alex, he'll best thing for him to do. He'll benefit better. Is it that personal? Is he not thinking about Senegal?
No, I mean, look, his predecessor was trying to go for a 3rd term too, and it got very personalised. And I do think this is the problem. Leaders get surrounded by courtiers who kind of argue to them that they are irreplaceable. And so you get captured almost in the presidency. And so I think Mr. Wade and Mr. Macky Sall both suffered from this. But thankfully, Macky Sall has not done the Wade thing and has actually done a U-turn and reversed and announced that he's not running for a 3rd term, which is what his predecessor didn't do. And as you reported, was defeated by President Macky Sall.
Indeed. So Sall breaking that self-fulfilling prophecy, if you like. Who then will step in and take his place? Because clearly Sonko has his supporters, but given the fact that Sall has so many supporters, perhaps he has a lot of people against him too.
Well, that's where the rest of his party, I fear, is not well prepared to step in now. So, you know, will his prime minister now step up to the plate? We'll have to see. It's going to be a fascinating electoral process now in Senegal, given the case that is against Mr. Sonko that you've mentioned about. He potentially could still be detained. So we've still got a lot more politics to play out in Senegal. But what we do know now from the important statement tonight, that it won't be Macky Sall that is the one that is contesting the election.
Indeed, that case against Sonko, his supporters say, was a setup by Sall's people. I suppose we'll never know the exact truth, but do you think he could re-emerge?
He could, absolutely. I mean, I don't think, this is all raw information at the moment that we're kind of analyzing. I myself suspected that Macky Sall was rethinking his strategy. He's even been approaching places like my own institute for potentially speaking at them in the autumn in Europe. And so that suggested to me that he was probably thinking of some sort of valedictory tour. So I'm not completely surprised with what we've heard tonight.
Alex Vines, finger on the pulse and on the money. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for that analysis. Really appreciate it, because Senegal very close to us all here at France 24, and obviously to you too, sir. Thank you very much indeed for giving us that breakdown of the situation. Just to remind people, if you are just joining us, the news is Macky Sall, President of Senegal, who was expected to announce that he'd be running for a third term, and perhaps provoke political and maybe street violence as well. Macky Sall announcing he will not be running. And so the political scene takes another turn in Senegal. We'll chart things as they develop. And thanks again to Alex Vines of Chatham House and to Sam Bradpeace, who's reserving matters for us in Dakar.
Macky Sall began his first tenure as Senegal's president in 2012 after defeating the incumbent Abdoulaye Wade, who was at the time running for a third term. I am Messi Bond. Now, Senegal has seen violent protests in recent weeks. At least 16 people were killed last month. You know, there were speculations that President Sall was going to be part of the February 24th election, next year, and they were not having it. It didn't go down well with Senegalese, and the youth took to the streets, and I believe that their actions spoke to President Macky Sall's conscience as he has come out to clear the air about running, and he has assured the people that he wouldn't be running for a third term. And that action alone has doused the whole chaos. And people are beginning to open up for businesses and come out, and there seems to be peace and quiet. And I hope it lasts. Okay. Now the problem is, I don't understand why African leaders are this way. They are power hungry, and the moment they get in there, they never want to leave. They never want to leave, and that is why we end up with very old leaders, leaders who should be on bed rest, or leaders who should just, stay at home and take care of their health until their maker calls them home. It's really difficult to understand why they do this. And now you know the situation in Nigeria where a very old, sick man forced himself on Nigerians. Nigerians never voted for him. A few who voted for him did that out of what would I call it? Should I say just for selfish reasons? You hear most of them say, "Oh, he's a philanthropist. Oh, he's kind. He did this for me. He did that for me when I was this, when I was that, when I was." That is it. Nothing more. Is that what is that supposed to be a criteria for choosing a leader? Is that one of the criteria for choosing a leader? No, it's not. It's not. And now, after you know holding power, and I mean, what else? Nigeria is a mess right now, more than it's ever been. And I hope other African leaders, take this the same step President Markey has taken. All right? When it's time to go, just leave. Just leave. Pack up and leave. You are not the only competent person, even if you are competent, right? There are other people who can take that position and still be productive, just like President Sall has said. Like, I loved his speech, how he put it. I really loved it. And I like the fact that he listened to the people. He listened to the people. Okay, he was tired of the chaos and all, and he needed to do well by the people. And he steps down. He says he's going to step down when it's time. Okay, so he has it until next year to move. So that's a good one. That's commendable. Okay, and I'm happy for Senegalese and the youth. Part of the youth, really. I hope other African youths would follow suit. You know, in that same line because and Nigerians we tried that. We tried that. I'm sure you know about the SARS. You know, and SARS protests. You know, which led to hundreds of people being shot, you know, unarmed youth shot at while they were singing the national anthem and raising the Nigerian flags. Yet the authority denied it. But recently, just a few days ago, there was a mass burial for the victims. The victims they denied. Anyway, big ups to Senegalese. Yeah, you did well. You guys did well. The youth did well. Okay, and we're happy for you. Now we have come to the end of today's podcast. I remain Messi.